Yeah. Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Trust the Tape, a.k.a. Is it the hot dog or is it the bun?
Now, this is a hot dog bun.
I think it's a hot dog, too.
My name is Jeff Cavanaugh. I could hit the buttons to make the thing yell it at you, but I'm just going to tell you. My name is Jeff Cavanaugh from the DLLS Cowboys podcast. That is Bryan Broaddus from 105.3 The Fan, Clown Global.
I'm Clown Global today.
Clown Global. Crown Global Media. Make sure you're following them on YouTube and on Twitter. On Twitter, there's no O, CRWN, Global Media, as
Thank
Bryan is still in Twitter jail because he clicked on a bad link or something.
No, man. I think how it happened, I think the Texas Motor Speedway got breached, and because all of our media information was in there, and it happened to be the same deal. And that's how it went. I'll admit if I do something stupid. And in this case, this was not pilot era. This was me being, but I was not quick enough to say, oh, somebody has changed your email. They adjusted my email address, which made it now I couldn't. But I'm working on it. I reached out to the young lady who's helping me, and I have not heard back. So we'll see.
Oh,
hopefully.
well. At least
no, it was last night. Night. It wasn't like, it hasn't been like 3 or 4 days. Young lady works for the Cowboys, and she's been very good about helping people with their Twitter problems. So I'm hopeful
on the case.
I hope so.
Jeremy's in the super chat. He said, is Jerry Jones ever going to swallow his pride and admit he's the worst GM in NFL history? That man's a Hall of Famer, Jeremy. We don't talk that way about Hall of Fame front office men, okay? He's one of the best to ever do this. That's why he's got a gold jacket.
He's won an award as Executive of the Year, too.
That's right.
His peers. He was picked by his peers as Executive of the Year.
That man is a Hall of Famer. You better back off, pal. Don't worry about how the roster looks and what they've been doing over the last 3 to 4 years.
Let me ask you something, Jeff. Let me ask you something.
Go ahead. I dare you.
You know the general manager's not going to change, or the structure of the way it works.
Yep.
What would you recommend that they do to work around that? Okay, if structure's not going to change, what do you do? I think I have a solution.
Okay, I'd
like to hear your solution.
I think it's hard. I think you have to lock him up somewhere. I think the problem is because you've talked about this a lot. The issue is Jerry outright said it this offseason, which I think everybody kind of knew. Like, there's a lot that goes into who you pick in an NFL draft, right? But he outright said, like, the guys who scout these guys and rank these guys are not the guys who are going to pick these guys. And I don't think that's a good thing. And you can't – I don't know when you say, like, the guy's not going to change, the general manager's not going to change. I don't see a way.
I think a process could change. I think the process can change. And this is where, when he says the guys aren't picking the players, I personally, and this is 14 years working with Jerry Jones, I think he listens to too many people.
Right.
He listens to too many people. Too many people. Will, him, Steven, the coach. That's it. You want something to change, don't listen to Barry Switzer. Don't listen to Bill Parcells. Don't listen to Bill Belichick. Don't listen to, have your own ideas of what you want to do, but don't be influenced by other people. As scouts, we're seeing it nowadays. My guy out there with the Rams, Les Snead, him and that head coach make the decision on their players. They have information brought in, you present your players. The problem is, though, when you're always trying to come to a consensus, you don't always come to the right consensus. And I think that's the biggest problem with the Cowboys. I think that there's always this consensus, or they strive to have it. And if you have disagreement, then they go and have these pods and go and try. Coach gets with scout. They try and kind of hammer it out. Consensus sometimes in football is not the best thing to have. But having a small group, a tight group that doesn't get influenced by other things tends to work the right way. I do believe some of the draft problems they've had recently have been because of coaches that they've had on the staff, or scouts who are currently on the staff too. I'm not going to say the scouts have been perfect here either, but the fact that a Mike Zimmer, or a fact that a Dan Quinn, or a fact that a Matt Eberflus has been able to influence the players that they have currently on the defensive side of that ball, I think it's hurt them. And I think it's always because they try and come to this consensus. To me, my suggestion would be just tighten up the group. We don't have to have a consensus. Get the information, let Will build the board, or let Will build it for Jerry and Steven and the head coach. This is they drafted well with they did draft well with a guy like a Jason Garrett. Now, I didn't respect Jason Garrett as a head coach. I did appreciate, though, the way that he had an eye for talent, and I think their roster reflected that. But it needs to be a tighter group, a tighter circle, and not let everybody have an opinion on what this team should look like. I think that's unfortunate. And that's the one thing. I know the ownership's not going to change. I know the general manager's not going to change. But the one thing that I would suggest is they change the process of the way they do their evaluations.
Yeah, and I kind of wish I think a lot of their things come back to some of the same things. Like if you half-ass a coaching search and you end up with
Shoddy, Shoddy took this one over. Shoddy, you know why Shoddy took this one over, Jeff? You know why Shoddy took this one over?
Because Jerry let him?
No, because he got blamed. He got blamed when he was at that podium the other day. He got blamed for the Eberflus hire. Jerry clearly said this. Jerry goes, "Oh, Shoddy was in on this one. Shoddy was, and maybe Shoddy wasn't in on that one. Maybe."
I mean, he also, because Jerry will say 8 things at once. Like, he also said it was me. Like, I hired that.
It was me. But he also threw Shoddy in there as well. He said, "No, Shoddy was on board with this." Like consensus got you your edge rusher traded. Consensus of they're talking about everybody agreed.
I don't believe that, by the way.
I don't either.
I
don't either. But
that's bullshit. One guy traded Micah Parsons.
To me, that's what I'm saying though. How could you in that organization with good conscience not stand up and say, whoa, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
I think there's nobody. I think,
but they'll tell you consensus.
Jerry will, and then nobody's gonna go out there and say he lied to you, because they're grateful that he hired them. Schottenheimer got one shot.
We might hear that. I'll tell you what, we might hear when this staff, when all of a sudden Eberflus. I don't know if Eberflus will say it, but it'll leak out how this whole thing went down with Micah Parsons, because Matt Eberflus is going to tell Laura Oakman or tell somebody that hey, you think I wanted to trade Micah Parsons? You're full of what.
Yeah, he'll tell people once he's fired. Once he's fired, he'll tell people.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. When all these coaches, these defensive coaches get blown out, we'll learn what happened with Micah Parsons and that whole thing.
Yeah.
But I think the reason why Shoddy is doing this what he is because Jerry Jones sat there and said, "Okay, I blame you too. You have a hand in this Eberflus thing." So he's like, "Okay, if I had a hand in the Eberflus thing, I'm about to do one of the most exhaustive coaching searches I can do." But I think a lot of this is tied into guys that he knows. I think these guys, these young coaches that we're seeing, are tied into guys that he knows. Whether it's Dan Quinn, Mike Pettin, he is going to those guys for, what about this guy? What about this guy? That's where I think this search is going. I think it's more about, and let's be honest though, the offensive coordinator now, he is on Gannon right now. He is like, what about Gannon, man? You interviewed Gannon? Yeah, it's a good coach. That guy, where I've talked to people in the league, it's like, has Gannon really gotten better? Right. Has his defense has really gotten better? And you can kind of look at what happened. You can look what happened maybe to him at Minnesota. He was at Minnesota with Mike Zimmer, and it's like he had a chance for Indianapolis. And I was hearing that they were like encouraging him to, hey, you need to take that job. Need to take that job. You need to get, so there's some things that you have to kind of look, but I could kind of start connecting dots of why certain guys are getting interviewed here. And I wanted to believe that maybe that some of these guys were getting interviewed for positional coaching jobs too. that they're
The only
bringing
thing
in some.
so I talked about this yesterday, and Clarence immediately kind of shot me down, and then I went and looked. Almost everyone that they're interviewing, that would be a lateral move or worse. So
Yeah.
like that wouldn't make sense because you can't just take a guy for a
You got
lateral
to
move, right?
You got a guy. If you got a guy that's out of contract, we don't know how many of these
Yeah.
guys.
If they're out of contract, yeah.
If Covington, the Packers defensive line coach, is at
Right.
a contract, you could absolutely,
Yeah.
look the guy at the Giants. Is he on the staff? I mean, I'm sure they're high. Until some of these coaches get head coaching jobs, these staffs are in limbo right now. A lot of these staffs are having to wait, like they're waiting what's going on. I'll tell you this: I think that the Cowboys secretly want Atlanta to hire their coach now and see if that coach gets blown out, the defensive coordinator there. I think that's the guy they really, really want. I think that's the guys that, when you start to look at the coaches, they've interviewed a bunch of guys, but you got guys that are kind of in limbo because the new coach hasn't been hired yet.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. We'll see how that all plays out.
Hire all the people, you jerks. Let's hammer through some super chats, Brian. We got Mo Cow in here. He said, Harold Perkins Jr. Thoughts, Brian? Love him. That's an LSU man, Brian.
That's LSU man. And listen, I am really proud that Harold Perkins stayed as long as he did because I thought he was going to be in the portal like really super quick. And, because we weren't playing good football, I know he was a very highly touted guy. He got hurt in a game a couple years ago, hurt his knee, came back. LSU used him like in a weird way. He's a rusher. He's an undersized rusher. He plays linebacker. He gets after it. I mean, he really does, but they play him as this off-ball linebacker, and it's really not his cup of tea. He is an attacking type of a player. And unfortunately, though, he's not a 6'4", 248-pound attacking player. He's a smaller guy, but he plays with extreme quickness and stuff. I'm interested to see. I'm sure he'll run really well, test really well at the combine. I'd love to see somebody get him and use him how he's needed to be played. There was times when he first got to LSU that he was used in the right way, and then he became this spot drop linebacker and tried to play in coverage, and it just didn't work out for him. He's a really, really good player that came to LSU, very, very highly touted, and left there just kind of a lot more questions than answers.
KG's in the super chat, who I always appreciate. He's just thrown into the pool fund and hoping that we're doing well this morning. I appreciate you, KG.
Yeah, thank you, man.
We got to get the pool knocked down a little bit. We're not making great progress. About 140 a month is what we're getting knocked off there. I think we're still in the 21s on what we owe in the pool fund. Who else? I think the same thing you're talking about with Perkins happened to, and it's not going to hurt him because it sure seems like he's going to be a top 5 pick. I think the same thing happened to Arvell Reese at Ohio State.
Could be.
They're like Matt Patricia is doing what they think is best for their football team. But if you watch the last, 6 weeks of the season, I'm watching it, and Arvell Reese is not really playing as much at linebacker anymore, and he's not attacking downhill from that spot, and he's not able to show off the things that are the reason he's going to be a top 5 pick. And I think a lot of people have seen enough of it that it's still going to happen. But it's what caused me to go, oh, man, I like Sonny Styles definitely better as a linebacker. And when he's lined up fully on the edge, what's Arvell Reese really doing? And what they're asking him to do is contain and spy quarterbacks, and they're not really setting him loose. And it made me kind of go, well, he's not the best edge guy, and he's not the best linebacker.
He's going to get –
when they were just unleashing him, you get to see the plays where he shows the power and the tenacity and the finish and how he can just play off of a block and destroy people. And you didn't really get to see that the second half of the year, I didn't think.
Yeah, no, this is, there's Vach and I were talking about this on the Doing All Right. The player that's probably going to be scrutinized and picked apart the most in this draft coming up is Arvell Reese. They're going to, every year it happens. Remember Travis Hunter last year? Is he a corner? Is he a receiver? Is he, he's the best player? No, he's not the best player. No, this guy, this is what's going to happen to Arvell Reese. He is going to be picked apart. He should be picked in the top 5, like you're talked about. Incredible player, incredible athlete. But he is going to be dissected more than anybody else in this draft, my opinion. And Vach's opinion as well.
I do think it's a weird draft because I tried to put together a stack yesterday. In other words, you take all your guys that you have a first round grade on and you put them in order.
Sure.
And that position doesn't normally go that high order of my list. Like, here's my top 3 players: Caleb Downs, Jeremiah Love, Sonny Styles. I just named you a safety, a running back, and an off-ball linebacker. Those are the 3 guys that I feel the best about in this draft, because it's another weird one where I don't think it's not a top-heavy draft. It's a good one. It's a good one. Like, there are position groups. I love the corner group. There's different position groups that I really like, but it's not like if I were picking 3rd or 4th, I wouldn't be that fired up about it, because like I don't think that the top offensive tackle prospect is as good as a lot of years. I don't think that the best edge
Mawanoa is my number 1 guy. I think
he's mine too.
Yeah,
he's mine too. But
fine.
Think back to do you look at him the same way when Penei Sewell and Rashawn Slater were in a draft? I don't.
No, that's fair.
Even
that's
maybe
fair.
Joe Alt, or I'd have to go look up names for year to year. But, I think like the Cowboys are in a good spot because you can just let it play out. And then you don't care about what position they play because you're picking 12th.
Yeah.
But at 3rd or 4th or 5th or 6th, I think it's harder to take the off-ball linebacker, the running back. And so I think maybe you may be able to pick one of the 3 or 4 best players in the draft at 12, because teams are trying to sort through, all right, well,
did you
take that position? And then
did you get down through your first round guys? Did you stack the rest of them, or just stack the top 3?
Yeah, I've got.
All right, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Give me, and slowly give me number 4.
Arvell Reese.
Okay. Would you trade away from him if you had a chance to draft him?
No.
Give me number 5.
Reuben Bain.
Would you trade away from him if you had a chance at 12?
No.
Give me number 6.
David Bailey.
Would you trade away from him if you had a chance?
No.
Give me number 7.
Francis Maui-Noah.
Would you trade away from him if you had a chance to draft him at 12?
I could.
Okay.
I could. You probably shouldn't, but I think a lot of people would be weirded out if the Cowboys' first pick was an offensive player.
Don't think about the Cowboys. Would you trade away from him if you were the Buccaneers, the Rams?
I do think that's my
just as a player. Just trade just think about the league. Would you trade away from him at 7 if you had a chance to draft him?
If I have a needed offensive tackle, I could. I think that's the number where my answer starts to become yes for the right trade.
So now the guys, obviously, you sound like that you would trade away then from McCoy at Tennessee.
Yes.
You sound like you would trade away from Delane at LSU, the corner.
Yes.
You sound like that you would.
I can give you an order. You named my 3rd and 4th names that would have been coming, but the receiver.
So you would trade away from every wide receiver you have on the board.
Yep.
You would trade away from every offensive tackle, with the exception of Mawanoa, maybe.
Yep. Yeah. Because my order after Maui-Noah is Tyson.
So if you get down, it's on your board. If you got down to, so Maui-Noah would be the last guy you probably wouldn't trade away from. Am I right?
I could trade away from him.
Okay, so you got 6.
So Bailey would be the last one that I wouldn't.
Bailey would be the last one.
Once you pass the guys who I think play the non-premium positions, but I think are also the best prospects.
It's funny, but you got 3 guys. You got 3 guys in your top 6 that are those positions that people traditionally. And listen, I applaud you for doing that, because I just put him where I put him. I don't care about if you tell me, oh, he's a safety. If you don't have one of those players and you suck draft him.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a running back or I don't care. I'm here to try and win football games now is what I'm trying to do. Yeah. So I don't have time for that. Well, he's a running back. Listen, if the Raiders had a damn good offensive line, you would see Ashton Gente have some similar success of what we're seeing with Bijan Robinson in Atlanta. You would.
Yeah. No,
absolutely
would.
Awesome.
He's awesome. And Jeremiah Love will be the same thing. Like, I have him where I have him.
Agreed.
If you have a bad team that can't block, don't pick him.
I saw Dane Burglar's mock draft. I think he went to 8 to the.
Yeah,
Did he go 8?
Yeah, he did.
8 to the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, what you're telling me with your stack is that you're more willing to trade away and try and get more picks.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think the only guys that stop me from doing that are the 3
or
guys.
6 guys. You got 6 guys. 6 guys. That's
3
it.
pass rushers. And
If all 6 of those guys are
players.
gone, if they're all 6 are gone, you're willing to bail out of there at 12.
Yeah, and like here's why. Just for instance, let's see. So the 6th was David Bailey, Maui Noah, Tyson Tate, Mansour Delane, Jermod McCoy, Lemon, the USC receiver,
He's
Fano,
really good.
the offensive lineman at Utah, and then check Jeff out in the first round here. Terrell and Avion Terrell, Clemson corner.
Yeah, Clemson.
And Colton Hood, Tennessee corner. So
I've got on the edge for me. Colton Hood.
I've got 4 corners grouped in that area, and I promise you, if they're all 4 staring me in the face at 12, I can have one at 20. So, then you start playing the value game. All right, I clearly have these guys ranked fairly close. I don't have a gigantic preference.
So you might be willing to move down twice.
Possibly. I would say that's not impossible for me. Because I like, this is one of the drafts that I like it, and I would love to have a bunch of picks from 15 to 40, 15 to 50. And 12 is going to be a good one, especially if Sonny Styles makes it, because that's the guy that I feel real good about, that the league doesn't value that position all that much because it's not like he's a pass rusher on top of being a linebacker. And so I think that could happen. And then outside of that, yeah, I'd probably be open to trading that pick, or you can pick your first corner, the one that you like the best, or you could pick if you have a pass rusher that you really like. But I only have, if you count Reese as a pass rusher, I have 3 first rounders, and then I threw a bunch in the second. Ruben Bain,
I've got Bain and Bailey as my 2, and then Messidor would be my next one, and then Howell, Height, Mason Thomas. You need to watch from Oklahoma.
Yep.
He's got a little bit of that Dwight Freeney to his game.
We like Dwight Freeney. We like a good spin move. You tell me he has a spin move? Because
this guy's good. This guy's a good player, though. Let me
hammer through some supers before we continue on here, because I don't want to get too far behind on them. Dad Exotic's in here. Any thoughts on some day 2 defensive ends? Look at Zion Young from Mizzou, Josephs from Tennessee. I've not seen the Tennessee guy. I have seen Zion Young, and the reason that I saw Zion Young is one of the ESPN guys did a mock draft, and they had a Missouri pass rusher going to the Cowboys. And so I went and watched him, and I was like, that's weird. The guy on the other side's better than him. And so I started ranking them, and I had Zion Young was the non-Missouri edge guy, and I think I have him in 2 or 3. Is he in 2 or 3? I have him in 3. I have him as day 2 guy for Zion Young. I think he's a nice little prospect, and I haven't seen the Tennessee guy.
Yeah, the Tennessee guy still Dane threw a curveball at me. I guess the guy declared late. The Georgia's got an offensive tackle.
I watched
Freeling. Did you? What did you think about him overall?
I actually put him in the 3rd round. I think there's guys that I like better. Because I watched a different offensive lineman last night too, who I like a lot, and I actually put him ahead of a guy that is going in the top 20 of every mock draft. Oregon's left guard, I think, is really good. Oregon's left guard last name is
you got it right here,
Emmanuel Pregnon.
Yeah, I think he's the 2nd best guard in the draft.
I put him ahead of the Penn State guy. Like I've got.
I did too. I did too. Yeah.
Okay, who's your best guard?
Let me see if I did that. Maybe he is my best guard. Let me look at my notes real quick. Yeah, no, he's number 1. No, he's number 1. Yeah, I actually got him at the top of the 2nd. Penn State is then in the 2nd behind him. And then I go all the way down. There's a guy, Bison Titus at Texas A&M, and then Campbell from Texas. So it kind of goes 2nd round and then drops all the way to the 4th for me. So I've got four of those guards.
Dallas is in the super chat. Jeff, what would your dream off-season pre-draft so you can go BPA, maybe some names? Thing is, I don't have like a free agency list in front of me, but I do think that if you were the Dallas Cowboys, you need to, before you get to the draft, have a starting caliber defensive end. You need a starting caliber safety. You need a starting caliber linebacker and a starting caliber cornerback added. You need all of those.
See, what's going to have to happen is you're going to need, and this is where it gets going to be crazy. You're going to need to get a defensive coordinator that's going to come in here, and he's probably told Jerry and Steven, maybe he's going to get the job thinking that, hey, you don't have to spend money. I could work with these guys.
Don't be that guy coordinator.
That could be
that guy coordinator.
I know. Or he could be the opposite and say, you've got 7 guys on this defense that can't play.
Right.
And now you got to go out and address those needs.
Yeah.
You got the two picks you can use, and then you've got to go out and sign guys. This thing's going to go either way. There's going to be a coordinator that's going to walk in here, and he's either going to say, I could coach these guys up, which would be music to Steven and Jerry's ears, or it could be like, no, you've got to go get guys, and this is how you're going to go do it. That coach is going to influence a lot how offseason works.
Max is in the super chat. Good morning, fellas. Dalen Everett, Georgia corner. I got to give fair warning. If any name that you send in is not considered like a top 50 to 75 player, the odds are I haven't seen him yet. Brian's further along than I am, but I'm at 8, 9, 10, 13, 15, 17, 19, 24, 26, 29, 30, 33, 34, 35. I've seen 42 players. So
70,
considered that
here.
way, I will not have seen them yet.
Yeah.
Jeremy wants to double down on if Jerry's going to ever swallow his pride and admit he's the worst GM in NFL history. Appreciate that. Swayze, do you guys know the total budget for the coaching staff? Also, would you trade Pickens to move up in the draft if you knew you got a defensive stud? I'm not interested in trading George Pickens, but I'm also interested enough that if you ever told me what the return is and it sounded good enough, I'm open to trading anybody that this contract doesn't stop it. So I want George Pickens on this team.
I do too, but what you could do is, and I was working with on my guys with 105.3 The Fan, and Gavin Dawson was saying, well, I'll take a 1 and a 2, and I'm like, what would you just take a 1? And he goes, no, I would take a 1 and a 2 or a 1 and a 3, and I'm like, what if it's just a 1? Would you? I'll ask you the question: would you just take a 1? Would you take a 2?
I would not. I absolutely wouldn't take a 2.
You got him for a 3.
Yeah, but the thing is my goal is to win the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl is more likely won with George Pickens than anything you do with a first-round pick.
Okay.
Like the first round, to me, trading George Pickens for a first-round pick is saying I want to win the Super Bowl in 2029, and I want to win it in 2026. So I have to feel like for me it would be, tell me about a pick and a player.
Would you match? Okay, you got the ability to match your kicker. If they tender him a second round and somebody signs him,
I'd take a second round pick for any kicker. With all due respect to Brandon Aubrey, if somebody was really going to give me a second round pick for the rights to Brandon Aubrey, you can have him, because I'm going to get a starting corner and then I'll find a kicker. And I love Brandon Aubrey.
Well, don't you feel the same way about George Pickens?
What do you mean?
Well, in a way that you're going to get a 1. I mean, you probably, if you don't think enough of Flanoy as a 2 potentially.
No. George Pickens could be somebody's number 1. I mean, this is me just disrespecting kickers. George Pickens is different. Brandon Aubrey affects my ability to win the Super Bowl by 0.25%. George Pickens is a big part of it. That's why he's going to be a $30 million player, and I don't know what Aubrey's going to get. Dro knows is
probably 7, probably 6, probably 7 a year.
Oh wait, what was the one total? But I do not know the total budget for the coaching staff. I imagine it changes year to year, but they're very happy to not pay. And I remember hearing Jerry bitch about how many coaches he had to pay one time.
Well, that might be a situation too why you're not going to get Brian Flores, because you might have to pay him very similar to what you pay your head coach.
Yeah, our guy's cheap. Dro knows I'm late to the show. Damn. Any thoughts on the Notre Dame safety, Aiden Shule? Could he be in the play for the Cowboys in round 4? See, Dro, you're ahead of me. 4th round safety, I don't got you covered. Although, I will tell you, I have a random safety to tell you about in a second. Taha Ahmed. Brian, please explain why you don't think coordinators should not be in the consensus circle. Don't they know their scheme the best, how to balance? I have a rant prepared for that, but Brian, he asked you.
Oh, go ahead, rant.
But this is my thing, and I think I saw Richard Sherman talking about it on the internet the other day. Don't pick players that have to fit something specific. That's goofy.
Bingo.
Like the fact that Trayvon Diggs in year whatever cannot comprehend cover 2 is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And when Trayvon Diggs was in his prime, don't get me wrong, you make it work, I guess, if you're going to get me a whole bunch of interceptions. But if you're a linebacker who can't drop back in coverage or can't blitz or can't tackle or can't run, you're not playing on my team. If you're
Not playing on my team, yeah.
You're a corner that he plays press man, fine. If you're Dion, I'll build it around that. But if you're just telling me, yeah, that guy's a nice player, he can't play insert coverage here. Why are you picking that guy?
There you go.
Like, Savone Revel's going to
it's a good rant.
be able to play zone.
It's a good rant. No, it's the absolute
if you tell
truth.
me this guy plays man, then this guy's not an NFL football player. NFL football players do multiple things. No. If you tell me a safety can't cover, he can't play on my team. Yeah. It's just stop. It can't be my corners must do this. Fine, I'll find you a guy and he can do that. But it's not all he can do. If that's all he can do, then what do I do when you get fired?
Yeah. You're living it right now. You're actually living it right now is what you're doing. Because you're getting guys, it's like Maris Leofau. 3 years ago, Maris Leofau was like the darling of the Mike Zimmer regime. Now Maris Leofau can't even get on the field with this pass regime.
Well,
why?
Look, Maris Leofau is a limited player, in my opinion. Maris Leofau is a he's a missile. He can't cover.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying. You're drafting guys because they want it. Your point's absolutely right. I mean, listen, I'm not saying you completely shut out everybody. I'm just saying you bring me the information and we're going to figure this out.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. And I think the fact is they listen to far too many people over there. Far too many. They're telling me, well, I remember when DeMarco Murray got drafted several years ago. And Jerry's up there telling me in the third round how great DeMarco Murray was. And you watch the tape, you're like, damn right, DeMarco Murray, good player. And then he's up there telling me, old Switzer told me this. We gotta draft DeMarco Murray. Old Switzer telling me, Jerry, old Bill Parcells, old Ron Wolf, come on, man. You're the damn general manager.
Yeah.
Okay. Act like one.
Yep.
Fair.
D Donutty, GP3 and pick 20 for Crosby and Las Vegas 2nd and 3rd round pick. You have 12, 36, and 60. I would do that. Yeah, I'd do that. I'm just flipping a really good player from offense to defense and giving up a little tiny bit in the draft from 20 to 36 and 67. I'd do that in a heartbeat. Be good. Max, I dove Delane.
Delane's a great player. He really is.
DB1. If not 1, he's 2. All right, so you're telling me to go watch a Georgia defensive back, and I'm going to get on it. Saw a name I'd never seen before on Mel Kiper's list that came out yesterday of his top 5 at every position group, so I just turned on the Pittsburgh defensive tape because his second safety was a guy last name Lewis. And I was like, haven't even heard his name. Let me go look. And so I watched a couple of games of him. And I love him. Problem is, I don't know what position he plays.
Oh no! Hey, get ready. That Kentre Scott, the kid from Miami. Have you seen him play?
I've watched him. He plays nickel for them. I listed him as a 2nd round safety because, it's
weird.
Put
him. That's what I'm saying. I put him as a strong safety. Yeah. I talked to a buddy of mine who scouts in the league who's got Miami, and he goes, he does everything but cover.
Yeah, he ain't playing man defense.
He does everything but cover. He goes. I asked him. I said, hey, listen, I'm struggling with this guy, Scott, in a good way. I want to play him at strong safety. Yeah. He goes, you're not wrong. He goes, I'm going to keep him at nickel corner, but you're right. He does everything. He blitzes, he tackles. I go, he's a strong safety. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's got a strong safety with some cover skills.
So Pittsburgh guy at Pittsburgh, what he
Lewis
does is, his name's Lewis, and he lines up as a pass rusher, as a will linebacker, and so many teams in college go spread. And when they go spread, he's something between a will linebacker and a nickel corner.
Hybrid man.
But what he does when he's out there is he runs to the slot guy who's running vertical, smashes into him, and then just goes out to the flats. But he's and so
smackback or hook.
So he's either a 6'1", 220-pound safety that's a downhill safety, or he's a really small linebacker, but he's a hellified player. Yeah. I just don't know what he is. Yeah. I don't know. And he put safety, so I'm turning on the tape looking for a guy lined up as one of the back 2, and I'm like, this guy ain't playing safety. But so he's either a small linebacker or a.
Have you watched
safety.
Have you watched that Thienerman from Oregon?
No,
You need to take a peek at him.
I'm on it.
Take a peek
I'm
at
on the
him.
case. Oh, by the way, the title was Draft Names Most Linked to Dallas because my buddy Ali for the show today, I told him every Friday we're going to do a mock draft roundup. And then he just did it on his own, which was great. And so we have an article up on alldls.com. You know the most common first round name at number 12 to the Cowboys, Brian?
It's got to be the linebacker Styles.
It's Keldrick Falk.
Oh, okay.
It is Auburn defensive end Keldrick Falk, little 280-pounder. Brian would not like that pick. I'm just going to tell you.
No, I you know what? He's 6'6", 285. I'm good, man.
He would be a tank replacement, not a Micah replacement.
We're good, man. We're gonna play some badass run defense.
That's right. And Andrew's in here. He said Dallas.
We're not gonna rush the passer worth a damn, but we're gonna play some badass run defense.
We're going. Our pass rush every pass rusher we got is 275 plus. Andrew said Dallas will never win when you have GM like Howie. Oh yeah. Howie Roseman runs circles around Jerry Jones. Good news is they don't have a quarterback, so all we got to do is get close and we can out quarterback him. That'll be fine. Thank you, Brian. Follow Crown Global Media everywhere or else.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, Jeffrey. Thank you.
Remember, you have no idea what anyone's going through. Be cool to everybody. We love you. Be easy.